Welcome to the Mom Self-Care Podcast, your safe space to finally focus on YOU. I'm Twitty-Hawkins, your self-care coach for moms, praying wife, and mom of four. And I know that being a Christ-centered mom is such a beautiful calling, but it can be so draining. That's why it's important to make sure you are filling your own cup. On this podcast, we'll discuss practical, holistic self-care strategies to help nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Because a mama who fills her own cup pours that back into her family with true peace and joy. Tune in for honest conversations about motherhood and self-care because you matter too. Blessings, mamas, and welcome to the Mom Self-Care Podcast. I'm Twitty-Hawkins, your host and self-care coach for moms. And today I have with me special guest, Cara Harvey. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today.
My pleasure. And today we're going to be talking about routines, you guys, because self-care, I say self-care is holistic. It's not just bubble baths and spa days. It's creating routines that work for you.
100%. I always say that my self-care is my planning because it's giving me this gift to my future self that isn't knowing I'm going to need it. But I love being like, thank you, past Cara. Thank you so much for doing it. It's like just such a nice gift.
I love that. Thank you, past Cara. That is cute. Well, let me tell you guys a little bit about Cara. Cara is a wife and mom to an 18-year-old stepson, 9-year-old daughter, 7-year-old son, and she's a woman of God. She works as a productivity coach for work-at-home moms, and her mission is to provide women with the tools, resources, and community to reach their goals, empower themselves, find their happiness, and live a life by design. She does this via her blog, podcast, The Purpose-Driven Mom Show, virtual community groups, and e-courses that help moms figure out how to grow and scale a business without hustle, shame, or guilt. Yes.
Yes,
I
all
love
things.
that.
Yes.
So tell us something that's not in your official bio.
Yeah, so I was a school teacher. Maybe that's not in there, but I was a school teacher for a long time. And one of the things I like to say now is that I get to use my degree, which is in special education, to help moms write their own individual education plans or IEPs, if you're in the special education world, for themselves. Because I find that we often will do everything for everybody else, but we don't sit and make the plan for us. So on the work side, that's it. On the not work side, stuff that's not in there, I actually used to be a very big adventure junkie, bungee jumping, skydiving. I've done all those things, but tell me how, like, post-kids, you couldn't find me on a roller coaster right now. But in my pre-kids life, I have done all those fun things, and maybe one day I'll get back to it, but now I'm settled in where I'm at. So it's one of those where it's like, I've been there, done that, but I love those types of thrills.
I love that. And I like to say, side note, I like your nails. They're so cute.
Oh, thank you. These are like those glue-on you do at home nails. And I never do them, but I found that again, it was one of those things where I found them and I thought they've been sitting in a drawer since 2020. Like I bought them to do over the pandemic, never did them. I'm going to use them and I feel fancy. This was one of those self-care things that I was like, I'm going to do this because it makes me just feel. We always say to my daughter, she's in like I want to wear makeup around the house, try to sneak it out of the house type of a phase. So, she's 9, she loves to play with it. And I read this thing once about kids and talking about how we use makeup and we don't want to use the word like we're using it to feel more beautiful because like they're naturally beautiful as they are. So we say fancy. I was like, it makes you feel fancy, huh? So yeah, they make me fancy. Thank you.
I love that. That is so
Yes.
cute. I love that. All right. Well, can you tell us a little bit about why you started the Purpose Driven Mom?
Yeah, I taught for a long time. And then when it was about a decade when I left the classroom and I went into network marketing. And I thought I was living the dream. And I think it looked like that on the outside. I had gone full time into network marketing. I had this 250 person team, $100,000 income. I was getting the awards. I was doing the thing. But on the inside, I was absolutely drowning. And it was because I was doing all the same things I did as a teacher that burnt me out in this business, right? Inbox zero every night. I would walk around with my laptop in my hand. My family was coming last. I used to say I used to be like, where can I fit my family into my work? And now I flipped that. And now it's where can I fit my work into my family and myself and my own life? And so after about 4 years of full time hustling and hustling and hustling, I thought there has to be something different. And so when my son was born, he'll be 8 at the end of the summer. So the business will turn 8 in November. I thought there has to be something different for us. Everything out there for moms is hustle, do more, wake up earlier, use your willpower, you don't want it bad enough. It was just so rooted in shame.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this isn't what we need. Like, this isn't what we need as moms. We need something a little different. And so a purpose-driven mom was born that November, literally built a website, nursing my son over a boppy pillow while I was dealing with my own postpartum anxiety and depression at the same time. It kind of became an outlet for me to help figure out how I can take some time to have something for me and not get kind of lost in that mom shuffle. And now, yeah, almost 8 years later, I've been able to impact moms and meet them in a place that I felt we need. I don't feel like there's as many people out there talking to us as moms, right? Everything is very like, bro, fit in a box, like do these things. And it's like, I'd love to get up earlier. Yeah, but I have this baby who's not sleeping through the night. And I'd love to stay up late, but I'm very tired at the night. So how do I make things aligned, right? We talk all about things that a purpose-driven mom are all about alignment, and they're about intentionality and grace. I'm going to go into my day with a plan, and I'm going to give myself grace for being the human being that I am, who's not going to be able to do it perfectly, and not let perfection make me give up, because I think that's the only standard, right? Because we need to remember, and you know, right? Like, I'm not Jesus. I'm not going to show up perfectly. And I have to remind myself that when I try to control everything. And so a purpose-driven mom came out of a mix of a need for myself and a need for the moms that I was working with.
Oh, yes. I love it. And I love that you mentioned grace because I talk about that often. Show
Yes.
yourself grace. And going
100%.
back to what you said with special education, that was a ding for me because we didn't do IEP, but we did 504. And I know how, how I had to advocate for my son. And so really for you mamas who have been through it, you know that you have to advocate for your children. So as she said, doing the same for yourself, saying, hey, what is the best for me? And then checking in with that and all those good things. So,
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also what is the best for me right now in this season. I talk a lot about seasonality. I think we all have great intention, but often what we're doing is we're comparing our goals to what we see other people are doing, right? And this is a great example. We're filming in the summer, right? You see people on vacation, they're doing these things, and all of a sudden what you're doing isn't enough, right? Or I want to have this exercise goal. This is one I talk about a lot with moms. They'll be like, all right, well, I know I need to drink more water. 100%. But that gallon water challenge you see that fitness influencer doing, if you're not drinking 8 ounces of water right now, you're setting yourself up for failure. So how can we make a customized plan, like back to the IP, progress monitor it over the thing, right? How can we do that based on your baseline, based on where you're at? And the other factors, because what we want it, right, is we want our goals to fit into a box. We want it to be like, oh, this one routine worked. Well, now it's summer. And I don't know about you, my summer is variable. Every single day is different. My kids are at camp, they're not at camp. I got to pick them up. Or like everything looks different. So maybe that routine that worked during the school year doesn't work now. But I don't want to give up on it. It's how can I adjust it based on where I'm actually at? And there's so much freedom in that, not trying to fit into somebody else's goals. Because that's when we get stuck in comparison. That's when we feel like we're failing. That's when it's all these plans that sound great, but are actually maybe not realistic for me at this point in my life.
Right. That's good in this season. Sometimes for me, a season can change from week to week. So,
Yes, 100%.
what do you say to a mom who is now, of course, we're talking about routines, but she's doing all these things, but she still feels like I'm not doing enough, if that makes sense?
100. I mean, it makes sense because I feel like we all think it every single day, right? Like, how often do we sit down and say to ourselves, I didn't do enough? So I think there's two pieces here, right? We have to work on the mindset and we can do the practical. I like to do a little bit of both because I think that everything is rooted in both, right? So mindset wise, like you're doing a great job. And I saw this thing once and it was like, if you're worrying about being like a bad mom, like that's already enough to show that you're a good mom or something along those lines. If you're already worried, that means that like you're doing enough, you're trying, right? It matters to you. And I think just that reminder, some days you're going to knock it out of the park and some days you're not. And that's okay. I repeat that one to myself a lot. And that's okay. Again, this goes back to that perfectionism. What is the standard you're holding yourself to? So for the mom that already feels like you're not doing enough, what is enough? Because here's the thing we do. We keep setting these goalposts and then we move them and then we move them. Because some days enough might be I get my laundry done and take a shower. Some days enough might be I complete this decluttering project, right? Some days enough is I also get some work done. But back to that seasonality, every day looks different. You need to redefine enough for yourself and let it be enough. Stop saying, okay, well, I'm going to be okay with, okay, so let me give you practical. I teach this method, good, better, best in my program, where you go through your goal and you say to yourself, Let's make 3 different goals, like your backup plan, and then your backup plan, and then your backup for the backup, because things aren't always going to work out. So if I say to myself, I'm going to go walking, right? And I'm like, all right, I'm going to walk 3 times a week is my good, 4 times is my better, and then 5 times is my best. You need to let that 3, that good, be good enough. Because what happens is you get to the 3 and you're like, but I didn't hit 5. Okay, but did you hit the 3, right? And I think part of it is not only saying it, but believing it and saying, I did enough. Now, practically, a couple things that help switch, because I know you're listening and you're like, okay, well, how do I do that, right? Like, it's easy to say, but it's harder to like really change how you think about it. And you can rewire your brain to believe different thoughts. I like to go through and do some activities that help me build that confidence up that I am doing enough. One of those is ending my day in what we call the to-do list. Instead of let me mark my to-do list, right? Instead of, and this happened to me, I remember I've always worked from home ever since I had my kid, right? So my husband would come home from work because he always worked outside of the house until the past couple of years. Now he's like hybrid. And the second he comes home, what I typically used to do is like word vomit all the things I didn't get done. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get the dishes done. Oh, this I didn't get it. Like I felt like I had to justify existing, right? And it was always just like what I didn't do. We end our nights often with crossing things off a list and circling and like shining a spotlight on what didn't get done, which I think we need to be like making a plan for the next day. But also, right, we can have both. They aren't like mutually exclusive things. We can do both. Can we add in a to-do list? So when you go to bed tonight, I want you to go and I want you to write down 1 to 3 things that you did accomplish. I don't care how big it is. I don't care how small it is. I got the laundry folded. We ate lunch, right? I made that phone call I was dreading to make, right? And what this does is it starts to rewire your brain instead of seeing all of your failures and your quote, not enoughness. And it starts to remind you, like, I am enough, right? And I know, like, you know, we have a Christian audience. Like, we know here that who we're talking to, like, you are enough. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to do all these things, but we need to, like, get our brain and our hearts on the same side with that actual thought, like marry that together. So practically write it down. And then every time you write it down, actually out loud, it's going to be so silly. Great job, Cara, getting that laundry done. I'm really proud of you for showing up for this thing. You did a really good job with this. And it starts to help you see the success in the small. It helps you show up in a way that it's not just about, because there's 2 parts of every goal, right? Well, there's 3, but the two I want to talk about is there's like completing the goal. I want to walk the 5K. Then there's showing up for the goal every single day, right? And that's the part I want you to start to remind yourself of. I got those things done. So practically end your day with that. Give yourself a visual reminder. Well, a recommendation I give is you have like a jar with like, you know, it's like, I don't have any around here, but like little pom-poms, like craft pom-poms or anything visual, right? Again, back to the things that work with our kids. Why don't we do it? Now I taught behavioral support. So I very much am like, let's come up with all these things I used to do in my classroom, right? Why not do them for us? You can make your chart. You can give yourself stickers, gold stars. But I encourage people to have a visual reminder for all the times they show up for a goal, a routine, whatever it is. So if you have this new morning routine where you're like, I want to get up in the morning and I want to journal. I want to do my Bible study. I want to exercise, whatever it is. I want you to track like completing those things, right? So you have that, but then I want you to track just showing up. I don't care if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or an hour, and take that pom-pom and put it in the jar. Because what happens is over time, we get at the end of the month and you're like, you know, I didn't hit my goal. I said I was gonna, you know, journal X amount of times in the month. I only hit half of that, but wow, look at how I showed up. And then we can see the progress, because what happens is we go to the next day and we forget about the progress we made. We go to the next day and we're restarting because we're on the hamster wheel, right? We're restarting the day thinking of all the ways we're behind instead of celebrating all the ways we have previously showed up. It's like it's like that thing, you know, when you have a kid and it hurts, but then you forget and you have more, right? Like it's that same concept, right? Like I forget that I did show up for my goal. Wait, I did do those things. And we start to create this little resume for ourselves of all the ways we show up, which is how we rewire our brain from I'm a failure, I can't do it, to I am a person who shows up for my goals, right? And this is how we make the change to believe that we're doing enough. That's how we go from I am not doing enough to what I did was enough for today.
That's good. I'm not doing enough to what I did was enough for today.
Yes.
So good. I've heard of the tie-dye list before, but I love that you added to it, saying to yourself, you know, good job, or I did that for each one. That's good. And the visual reminder.
Yeah, because I think we forget, you know, we really forget. And one of the things we need to do is be so much kinder to ourselves, right? We're just all we do. And maybe I say we, but I'm sure many of you can relate. But obviously talking from personal experience with moms of coach, like we're just so mean to ourselves. We just tear ourselves down. It's always nitpicking at what we're not doing well enough. We're actually great. Like I say to myself sometimes, I'm like, I'm sitting here, whatever, get mad, and I'm like, you know what? I can't even lie on it. I'm a great mom. Do I have moments that aren't like my best? Yeah, but I'm a pretty darn good mom, and I'm gonna own that one. We don't do that for a few reasons. One, we feel some type of way about saying it out loud because we're not supposed to praise ourselves like that, right? So that's ingrained that we're supposed to be super humble about it. But also, we don't always believe it. We only think about the things that we're doing wrong instead of celebrating that we are actually doing a lot of things right. And when depending on your story and your background and all those things, if you've been in a family or in a work situation or something where you felt like it was just always criticism and pointing out your flaws, that gets so stuck in us. And the only one who can help us start those steps to rewrite those is like us. And the same with if you have a scripture verse that is aligned with one of your goals, if you have one, like say that while you're like really root it back into that to remind yourself of the actual truth, right? Of like Jesus loves you and he has made you and you are wonderfully made. Like, let's remind now tell yourself that, right? Like, what is the phrase where it's like, oh, you look happy, how are you? And someone's like, good. And you're like, well, tell your face, right? Like, fix your body language, but remind yourself of how fabulous you actually are. And not in this super arrogant, like, I'm the best, you can't touch me way, but in a way that's like, you deserve that love. So give it to yourself.
That makes me think of that phrase, like a quiet confidence. Like,
yes.
A lot of moms want to feel more organized, but they don't know where to start. So what would you say would be their first step?
Okay, so the first thing I recommend most of the moms that I coach with do is to do a time inventory to see where you are having gaps and what actually feels disorganized. We will often this all or nothing, right? Everything's awful. I'm super unorganized. We use that label. When what if instead the language is like, maybe my morning feels a bit off, right? Like I'm not great at keeping the paperwork together. There's probably so many, again, back to so many things you're doing well, but we want to put this blanket statement over it that makes us feel like everything is failing. So my encouragement is to start with an inventory. Go through, I would say, now there's a couple ways you could do it. You could do it over the course of a couple days. You could also pick one time of day that you're struggling with. So if it's your before bed routine, or for me, I don't know what it is, but those hours between 3 and 6, like after camp or school pickup to dinner, I'm just like, what are we doing? Right? Like everything feels like this absolute like black hole of time. I feel like stuff doesn't get done. So you can either pick the time where you're struggling the most or an activity, right? So say it's the paperwork, the bills, whatever, or do your whole day. And you're going to write down what you did and approximately, back to my perfectionist friends, lean in approximately. We don't need 9:01 to 9:10 unless like you feel like it. Grace on that. What happened, right? You're going to do that to see patterns and you're going to start to notice a couple of things. One, you're going to be very intentional about how you're spending your time and you're going to pause a lot. You're going to be like, oh, that didn't work. Or, oh, I noticed like I'm sitting here scrolling my phone for X amount of time. Or I found when I did my inventory recently, I was like, I'm running errands all the time. Like, why am I always running an errand, right? You're going to find the places where maybe you're not being the most efficient with your time, the places where you're the most stressed out. Like, that's how I realized that 3 to 6, I was like, something has to give here because I'm fine. And then this time of day, I don't know what to do with myself. And you'll see patterns. You're going to take your inventory, grab a couple highlighters, and I want you to highlight through things that you either want to tweak, right? So you can have as many colors. I love highlighters, pens, so I might over highlight, but you can do what you want with it. Things you're like, okay, this area is an area I want to focus on, right? Instead of the catastrophic, everything is awful, right? This is a time of day. You can also highlight through, are there things on my plate that I could delegate? We often feel unorganized because we're holding it all together. So why don't we enroll the other people in our sphere into helping us, right? Like, we are allowed to ask for help. Our children are okay and capable of doing things. We don't have to be the only one doing everything, right? So make that delegate kind of list for yourself of, yeah, like I am struggling between 3 and 6. Well, I realize it's because, and I'll just do a school example. I'm helping with the homework and I'm trying to get dinner ready at the same time. Oh, well, my husband, he works from home these days of the week, so he can actually help with these sort of things. Or my kids are this age, they can help, like thinking through how I don't have to do it all. I also want you to go through and kind of color code together tasks that you notice that you can do at the same time. So I mentioned the errands. This was such a big one for me when I did it because I was like, I'm literally at the store so often. Like this is not efficient. And it's not just I'm gonna run to the store, right? I'm gonna run to the store and then I'm gonna sit in traffic and then I'm gonna go to this. And then when I now do an errands day, I have 2 errands days and they're not even full days. I block them out, I run all my errands. If we need something in between those 2 days, we can figure it out. Like it is rare that we need something so badly that I have an emergency. Like you can wait for that thing that you would like. Like my husband is out of like the soap he likes, right, for his shower. We have another soap in the downstairs shower. They can share the soap for a couple of days. Like we'll be okay. Like, does he want his own soap? Yeah, go get. Then you can go to the store. Like that's my thing. It's like I'm gonna go tomorrow and I'll grab it tomorrow when I go to the store, or you could go to the store. And it, like I think we as moms feel like we have to jump as soon as somebody needs something, right? Because we are helpers, we're givers, we're servers. Like that's all so innate inside of us that of course I don't want to have to like inconvenience other people. I like being a person that people lean on. Like, I mean, I therapy this one through a little bit because I'm sure it comes from all these places. So I work on that need. It makes me feel good to do things for my family. But what doesn't make me feel good is when I'm burnt out and I'm then unable to serve in the other ways that I know I need to, including myself, right? So it's okay. So write down like, hey, I notice I could probably put all these errands together. I could put these phone calls together. Do I have to be doing laundry every day, or can we have 2 or 3 laundry days? So, like really look through your time. And what that's going to do is let you make a plan. Because back to the original question of like, hey, I feel unorganized, what do I do? What we often do is we think everything is awful. Everything is unorganized and nothing is working. So I need to overhaul my entire life, right? I need to make this 12-step plan that's going to overwhelm me, that I'm going to quit, right? And then we did the Monday mentality where like you're gung-ho Monday, and then it starts to wane on Tuesday. And by Wednesday, you're like, yeah, I'm going to try it again on Monday, which becomes the next month, which becomes the next month, which becomes 5 years later. And your vision board has the same goals on it. Like that's what we get into. Instead, take that, and I want you to pick one micro goal from that area. The one thing, if it's working on delegating, if it's the morning routine, if whatever the one thing is, and make a plan around that instead of I have to fix my entire life. Because it's overwhelming and we're not going to do it. So this way, if you're just focused on a smaller thing, like say you're like, I want to get more organized with paying the bills and the paperwork and like our command center and all that kind of things. You say in this month, that is my number one focus. I'm still going to like run my house. We're still going to do things. But my top priority is making sure every week I hit these goals when it comes to our paper organization or whatever. A couple things are going to happen. One, you're going to get really good at that one thing and it's going to start to grow your confidence. 2, you've given yourself a small task. 15 minutes a day I'm going to spend on the paperwork. That is all. So you can still live your life, but you're still working on this thing. So you're starting to see momentum, rewiring the brain. I'm a person who shows up. I'm a person who shows up. But as you show up for these goals, because you've done the time inventory, you know the next vision, right? You're like, okay, I know this month I want to work on this, and then next month I want to work on this, because your brain knows it now. It's that thing, I can't remember what it's called, but like when you want a white car and then you see white cars everywhere, it's like that same principle, right? Like it has a name, but your brain opens up to, I know where I want to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my paperwork, but hey, that didn't take as long as I thought because we're rewiring that part of our brain that makes us think everything takes long. You know what? Maybe I will work on this, like put in the dishes. I don't know, whatever the second piece I want to work on. And it becomes a bonus and not a requirement. So it takes the pressure off you. And some days you might do extra stuff and you're going to get momentum around other things without meaning to. And that's how you start to build it. It's planning to do less, but you actually get more done because you're not putting everything on your plate and setting yourself up for failure. So it's like starting it. So just to recap that, right? Time inventory, highlight, categorize, take that one micro area and make that your goal for the month. You can make a plan. Hey, next month I want to work on these things, but just work on that one. And I guarantee you're going to see momentum in the other areas too.
Yes, yes. I don't have my purple pen, y'all, for those who are watching on YouTube, but you need to be taking notes. And as I say, if you're listening while you're folding clothes or anything, make sure you save this episode, come back and listen again, because she's dropping nuggets, y'all. She's dropping nuggets. Something that you said, I don't have this issue as much during the summer, but during the school year, I go to the store a lot. So when you said choose errand days, I was like,
Yep.
Like that's what I need to do. I know that will help a lot with my budget because, I'm picking up.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, let's go to the store. Let's grab some extra stacks. And of course, you grab more stuff. So.
Well, and it lets you and your kids start to be a little bit more resourceful. And one, yes, 100% does it help with my budget, but it saves me a lot more time. And this actually started years ago when my oldest, ran out of deodorant and he was like, I need deodorant. And I was like, I'm not going to the store right now. You could have told me, you need to prepare. And the one thing that I remind myself, especially now that he's going to college in a couple weeks, right? Like I have one ready to go. I think every day, did we do enough? Did we prepare?
Mhm.
Like you're always like thinking through those, like, does he know how to do these things? Like he overloaded the washing machine the other day and I was like, all right, now when you go away, like we had to go over, that's too many clothes to put in. There's all these things, right?
Mhm.
But I think about this a lot as a parent. I am teaching my people how to treat me. And I'm also taking away that gift of independence that they will need to eventually become adults. I've listened to this podcast recently and it talked about how when we get to that stage of adult parenting, like our goal is to become a consultant in our kids' lives. We want them to
Mhm.
call us. We want them to ask us, right? I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
love that because that is the goal. But if we're always stopping and dropping and doing and they don't get the opportunity. I listened to what was the Anxious Generation. I don't know if you've listened or read that one. It's so good. It's about the increase in technology use in kids and the decrease of independent play and how it's creating anxious kids because they don't get the opportunity to fail. They don't get the opportunity to be outside and like go play kickball and have nobody pick you for a team and what right. But
Yeah.
it talked about how kids get pride when they get to be independent. And one of the things we as our helicopter parenting styles are doing is it's taking the kids' independence away and it's not allowing them to grow and like they're not confident that they can do anything because mom's just always done it, right? Like
Mhm.
it's always just been there. And so the deodorant example, it was one of those where I was like, I'm not going to the store until Wednesday. You can borrow daddy's, you can borrow mine. Like that's where we're at right now. If you need something, you now know that you need to let someone know sooner. And it
Mhm.
was like such a good teachable lesson for them as well as that reminder for me that like I feel so mushy about it, especially because like he's going to school, like I'm not going to be there. Like I'm not going to be there
Mhm.
to do those things. I'm not going to be there to check his email, to do all the like he has to learn to do these things. And we're doing our kids a disservice when we go into mommy martyr mode and have to do everything for everyone and don't release the control. I struggle with this sometimes because again, I have like a heart of like service. Like I just love it so much, but I have to remember that like other people can do things and
Mhm.
other people need to do things. And that is important. As much joy as it gives me to like do this thing, we have to also let them do it. And so the errands thing was one of those where I was like, oh yeah, not only am I saving time and money, but I'm reminding everyone else in the house that they also need to plan. They need to think in advance. They need to like, you know what I mean? Like, and listen, don't get me wrong. My kid, night before the SAT, is my stepson, so he's with us every other week, right? My calculator's at my mom's. I'm like, did I go get him a calculator for the SAT that night? Yes, I did. I'm not a horrible human being, right?
Mhm.
But we like to make that the exception and not the norm. And I think it helps us decrease our burnout as well. And again, teaches them just a little bit more advanced planning.
That's good. That is so good. Okay, so you talked about setting like a mini goal for the month. Now, for those that I know you talked about, it doesn't have to be a big goal, but when you're setting that goal and you reach it, how does that make you feel supported and more calm as a mom, if that makes sense?
Yeah, well, because I think one of the reasons we burn out in motherhood is because we have nothing left in our tanks because we're not taking care of ourselves at all. And so even if and I want to be very clear here. This was something new I started teaching this year because I was having moms come to me and they were making goals. When I'm talking about a goal, I'm talking about a personal goal I want you to make for yourself. A goal for your kids, a goal for your family, a goal for your house. Those are excellent goals, and I want you
Mhm.
to have them. If you don't have, and I have to challenge a lot of my moms when we get on the call because they're like, yeah, my personal goal this month is to declutter the office.
Mhm.
Cute. That's your home goal. That's not your personal goal, right? Because we really push our identity into those things.
Mhm.
If you don't have a goal that is something you want to enjoy, whether it's for your health, your spirituality, just for fun. I made a goal, like I like to latch hook, so I was like, I'm gonna finish my latch hook project. Like have fun, like make a goal for you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna challenge you to do that, and then I'm gonna talk about how it grows our confidence and makes us like supported. But you need one of those, okay? Finishing up my decluttering projects and my cooking project, like doing stuff with my family, having the date night and the game, like, those all make me feel amazing. But I think the best way to make us feel supported is to support ourselves in something that's just for us. And I know that you're like, but I don't have time. I have so much time. I know. 15 minutes. I encourage moms to take at least, I will say this like a sidebar, right? Like you are worth and deserve more. But let's start with 15 minutes so until we can wrap our brains around it. Take that 15 minutes a day for you and start to show up. And maybe I don't like to do like 7 days a week for anything because again, I'm like, we're never going to be perfect. So let's give ourselves 6 out of 7 and we'll give a buffer at the max. But I want to encourage you to show up for yourself for any goal. Mix and match whatever your goal is for you for 15 minutes a day for 30 days. Again, I don't care what you do, but the question then becomes, how can I show up for myself? And what that is going to do is grow your confidence, remember that you're worth it, and then it's going to make you feel great. And then you're going to be able to show that to your kids, bring that into your family. They're going to see a change in you 100%. Like mom snapping less, mom feels less stressed out. Like they're going to notice it. And that is such a gift to give to them and yourself, because again, it's that reminder like, yeah, I'm worth this. And say that. I talk to myself. Like if my neighbors, sometimes I have like the side windows, they probably think I'm nuts. I'm always talking to myself. I'm walking around and I'm like, great job. Like this morning, no, it was last night. I had a long day. I had to go do handle some family emergencies. I didn't get home till late and I wanted to exercise. One of my goals is to move my body every day. And it was, thank goodness, yoga day. So it wasn't even like super intense. I get to psych myself up for it. And I said, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do 30 minutes. So I took my daughter, we went to the grocery store, came back. So it was like 8:30. Like I did not want to do anything, but I did. I moved my body for 30 minutes. And the entire time I was like, I am so proud of you. Like, wait, look at you showing. Like I just actually hyped myself up because you have to. You have to hold space for that for yourself. And that's how you start to believe that you're worth the time. And now I work on my personal goals for a long time during my day. I still work on my to-do list. I still work on my routines. I still manage my home, my business, but I work on stuff for me. Like this has been my summer of self-care where I've been like stretching before bed and taking time for myself and like doing all these things because I felt myself on the cusp of burnout. And the best way for me was to stop and say, what can I do to pour into myself this summer? Yes, still do the other things, but I need to make these things a priority for me. And it's been a blessing to just get to show up in a way that feels good, but allows me to do things. And then the other thing too is with my routines, I felt the guilt, that voice that maybe a lot of us moms feel like my family needs me to do stuff. I should be spending time with my kids. Like all that happened for me too this summer. But I said, okay, well, how can I include my kids? Right? So two of the things I do before bed that have been like part of my self-care is like I stretch because I'm telling you, I'm 41 in my 40s. Like if I don't stretch before bed, ow, like I'm like, what is happening? Like I'm just sore. We just have to do it. So I do a 10-minute stretch before bed. My son is like a stage 5 clinger. I love him, but he literally will just crawl into my shirt if he could. He's almost 8 and he is just like, that's where we're at. I'm like, come on, come stretch with me. So every night he comes and stretches with me and we do it together. I've been doing my skincare because I've always been terrible at like washing my face and I wanted to do that this summer. My daughter, like I mentioned, is 9. So she is in her let me wash my face era. So she's like, let's do it together. So I do those things together with them, right? And it fills me up, but it also lets me feel like I took care of me at the end of the day.
Yes. My takeaway was just the way you said it is, how can I show up for myself today?
Yep.
Y'all write that down. How can I show up for myself today? Because we're showing up for everybody else. So that is really good. This has been so awesome. I love it. So a question I ask all my interviewees, what is your favorite form of self-care?
Oh, so fun. It's so interesting because I started by saying that self-care is a form, like planning is a form of self-care. And I didn't even get to talk about all those great things I wanted to do to plan. Honestly, it is sitting and planning because it helps my brain decompress. I am someone who has anxiety and I struggle with that. And I have found that just sitting and planning and using some of the frameworks that I teach allows my brain to calm down a little bit. So planning, which again, we didn't, I was like, we talked about so much today. But taking that time to make that plan, not because I can predict everything that's going to happen, but if I can at least make sure that that plan includes me a little bit, then I know that I'm setting myself up for success.
Right. And do you have a free gift for our audience?
Yeah, so I have a checklist that has kind of my planning system. There we go. Let's round it back. I have a planning system that I follow. And we have a checklist that we'll share with you. It also has a Trello board if you want to make it digital. It's kind of like a Pinterest board, but better, where you get to organize all of your things. And it has our step-by-step process that we use to make sure you have 15 minutes for you, 15 minutes for your routines, 15 minutes for your goals.
Awesome. And I'll have that information in the show notes, you guys. Well, thank you so much again, Cara. This has been amazing. I've gotten some good nuggets as usual.
This was so fun. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for just chatting with me. I really enjoyed it.
So awesome. Well, ladies, make sure if you haven't saved this episode, share with the mama you love and subscribe if you haven't, and leave a review if this blessed you. Until next time, take care. God bless. Thanks so much for joining me for the Mom Self-Care Podcast. I hope you feel inspired to make yourself a priority too. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Share this podcast with another mama you love and leave a review. Also, feel free to let me know what you would like to hear about in future episodes by visiting me on Instagram at CIC Inspire Me. Until next time, take some time to take care of YOU because you matter too.